This is an overly dramatic dystopian action movie-esque introduction to Creative Loitering Podcast Episode 7. Bethany Autumn moves slowly through smoke and fire like a badass as if she just caused some kind of explosion and is calmly walking away from annihilating 37 bad guys who totally deserved it. Creative Loitering Podcast, Episode 7. Bethany Autumn tells Rick she hates DSLR video recording time limits, and then she plays a song on her guitar.
You gotta constantly run back and forth to your cameras to be like, is this shit recording? Is this shit recording? Why did you stop? What's going on over here?
You end up using usually an Atomos Ninja recorder. I got a couple of those.
A Ninja recorder? Oh my God, hold on, sorry.
Yep. Atomos Ninja.
Don't you hate it when you like feel a sneeze trapped inside your brain and you're like, you know it's not going to come out, but the anticipation and the feeling is there? That just happened to me. It's mellowing down. But yeah, and I'm getting another 5D Mark IV on Saturday because I really need one because I'm starting to book more weddings and everything like that. And I'm just like, Robert and I just sold all of our camera equipment originally to get that Fuji. Because I didn't want to just I'm like, there's no reason to keep a 6D and 80D and all this stuff. I'm just going to sell it and buy this is like the screen that you...
Right. So what that does
This is a thick screen.
That's an older model. The newer ones are much thinner. But that will record the HDMI output. So you get a clean HDMI output, and that records it unlimited time at 1080p.
So even if your camera stops recording, whatever the camera still sees, it continues to record, almost like a screen recording on a phone.
Exactly.
So even if you're not actually recording on the phone, you can still... That's actually kind of cool.
Yep. So those are specifically designed as a workaround for cameras with time limits.
And does it also record audio then?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's
That will record the HDMI audio.
Okay.
Output from the camera, or you can plug independent microphones into it, or you can record both.
Okay.
On separate channels. Some of the newer Ninja recorders.
Kind of interesting. I've never... Because I've seen the screens that are just like a display screen, but I've never seen a screen that would actually also record.
Exactly.
That's actually really cool. Maybe we should look into something like that because there are just so many times that when shooting with Canon, it's just it just stops recording and you don't realize it stops recording unless you're right behind it when it happens, and then you go over and you're like, well, how long hasn't it been recording? And you're like, well, great, we just lost 15 minutes of something we were talking about.
You can't trust cameras that do that.
No, it's annoying, but I mean,
no.
I love them for photography. I love the Canons for photography, but definitely not the best for video. But that's why shooting with the Fuji lately. For video, I absolutely love it because you're in control of everything that you do. And I love being able to change the f-stop right on the lens. That's a big thing for me. I like really doing that instead of having to try to go in and change it manually because when you're shooting video on the Canons, you really can't change many of your settings without it messing up what you're doing. As where with the Fuji, you can just be recording and you can just change the f-stop on the lens. You can change the ISO, right from the little knob or your shutter speed. Boom, it's fixed, it's done, and it doesn't affect your recording. As where with the Canon, it's you can change your ISO and your shutter, but trying to change your f-stop is sometimes it will stop recording. Yep. I'm why do you guys, it's annoying.
It's frustrating.
It's not meant for, the problem is Canons really are not meant for video unless you're now looking into the mirrorless, the R6.
But we're 10 years into it. They shot the part of the pilot for House MD with the 5D Mark II years ago.
What's House MD?
It's an old TV show about a...
See, I don't know anything about TV shows. I did not grow up with TV. I just had VHS tapes.
House was 10 years ago. Yeah.
Is that the doctor show?
Yeah.
Okay, I've vaguely seen random commercials for it. I don't know if I've actually made it through a whole episode, but I do know who House is, yeah.
It's hilarious. And they would use the Atomos products. So I got these early on to record some podcasts, but that didn't help me with the autofocus problem. So right now we've got two Sonys pointed at us. Mm-hmm. It's the same cameras, so they're going to look the same as long as you have similar lenses.
Yeah.
And they automatically lock onto your eyes.
But these don't have an autofocus thing. So
this
if
just records the HDMI out.
So if the HDMI output happened to slightly be out of focus for some reason, you're just going to get out of focus.
It's just capturing the source material. Yeah. But it usually captures the source material better than recording inside the camera. With especially with some of the Canons, people like to use those.
Yeah.
I happen to like the 4K on my D850 better than that. I recorded both. So you have the ability to do both simultaneous. You can record in the camera and on there. So I tried that.
So then you have two different outputs, so you can just choose from whichever one looks best or whatever. That's kind of cool.
The last podcast we did ran so long that the camera battery died before that did.
So the camera battery died?
Yep.
So, okay. But this wouldn't continue to record if the camera's dead. Because it's only what you can still see through the camera.
Yeah, we slated an hour podcast. 3.5 hours later, stuff had shut down at 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah.
But these two kept going.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Because I got dummy batteries for them. Or I can plug the micro USB in, and it'll charge the battery while it's recording.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I got to say about the Fuji so far using it. I definitely think I'm going to have to invest in a battery pack for it because I've noticed that the batteries don't really last as long as I'd like to, and it does tend to get kind of hot. And that was something that I did notice on the reviews is because we have the Fuji X-T4, which they fixed problems from the X-T3. So overall, technically, it's a better camera. It's more expensive, but it still slightly overheats. And the batteries run out quicker, than I feel like they should. But then again, it's one battery when you're shooting 4K video footage only lasts so long anyways. But I really want to try to get a battery pack for that so it will last longer. But that's the thing is I like the size of it. It's not heavy. Canons are freaking massive. With my battery pack on and 100 millimeter lens, I'm I feel like I'm carrying a suitcase half the time. I'm this is so
silly.
Obnoxious and large.
No, and if I'm shooting a wedding or an event,
yeah,
I've got two Nikons with battery grips and very heavy lenses. Mm-hmm. So I've got about 12 pounds of camera on my belt.
And I mean, look at me. I'm tiny. And I'm carrying the same, because I use the, I got the brown leather strapped ones that they're it's like a harness that you have, and it's you can clip the cameras and everything to it. And I've used that for a few weddings. I used to have the spider belt, but it was putting so much weight on my hips and changing my center of gravity that my back would hurt at the end of the day because the pressure was in my lower back carrying both cameras there. So I switched to the harness. And it kind of works okay, but then I feel like your cameras are kind of slinging on your side, and you take the wrong turn and your flash is going to take out your kneecap. And I'm it really is a struggle to try to find something that is comfortable, especially for women's body. The harnesses work really well for men because it goes right over, but for us, it kind of has to go to the side, and then it's digging into your armpits, and I'm I really feel like it's just not comfortable for women to shoot with two cameras on a wedding day.
Cameras don't need to be that heavy anymore, period.
I know, and that's really the problem. And that's why the Fuji's great because it's it weighs maybe a half a pound, maybe a pound. But as for my Canon, it's with the lens, sometimes if I have a flash and then the battery grip, I'm my back hurts by the end of the day. I'm this is ridiculous. It doesn't need to be this
kind of silly.
Yeah, it's it's so excessive for no reason. It's you're hey, look at my big camera. And I'm great.
Well, and now it's almost worse with some of the EOS glass for the Canon. That 28-70 got bigger. That's bigger than the Canon 24-70. Yeah,
no, and I mean, I right now, the lenses that I mainly shoot with are the 50 millimeter, I think it's a 1.2. And it's a chunky lens.
It's my favorite lens.
My favorite lens of all time. It's chunky and heavy, but luckily it's small.
Yep.
So it's not like, and then my 100, it's actually probably weighs almost the same as my 100 millimeter macro. So those are like my two lenses that I use, because the 70 to 200 is so excessive that if I try to use that thing, my arm just dies. I can't. It's so heavy.
For Canon, it's almost worth it. I had all those lenses you just mentioned back when I used to shoot Canon. I switched in 2011 or 2012.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago, I switched to Nikon. That 51.2, I almost wish there was an adapter. Well, there is, but it's not worth messing around with.
No. I feel like the adapters are never, like they're never really worth it, because
something.
you're just going to lose so much quality, or you're going to lose control of being able to use autofocus or different things. And it's not worth it to me. I'd rather just buy the lens that goes to that camera. But I love that lens. You used to see, once in a while, you would see somebody with that Canon 70 to 200 2.8, that when the VR2 came out, on a Nikon body. Because the Nikon 70 to 200 wasn't that good until like 2 years ago. Yeah. See, I don't know that much about Nikon.
Nikon has stuff that Canon doesn't have, like the 105 1.4. They don't have that. That's my favorite lens nowadays.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a good lens. But, I mean, I don't know. It's like Canon is just like, it's like go big or go home. And it's kind of like, well, why do we need to go that big when we could just go home and not hurt our backs today?
You know, it was so silly that 85 1.2, that Canon, I used to have that one with that old
Isn't
wire-driven
that the one that's
focus.
like, it's got the slight yellow ring around it?
You mean in the photos that you take with it?
No. Like its appearance. I'm trying to look.
Oh, no, it's an L series with the red stripe.
It has the red stripe. Okay, maybe that's an art lens that fits on a Canon that has that. It's an 85 and it's got a little bit of it almost looks like a Nikon lens. I honestly don't know what I'm thinking about.
I know what you're talking. Yeah.
Okay, because I'm not crazy, but there is a lens that fits on Canon, and I think it's like it's a yellow stripe or something like that.
I see beautiful work with those art series lenses, but I'm not going to buy one because I don't want to worry about the autofocus going when I'm in the middle of a shoot.
True.
So I'm just staying out of it. Yeah, I got Nikon brand glass or Sony glass that's just as good as any art series. There just happens to be some very good photographers that like those lenses, so they're getting great shots. You could get just as good of a shot with other stuff, I think.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, I feel like your equipment, it only matters so much. I mean, if you know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, you can make almost any camera kind of work in a way that you need it to. But I mean, lenses are definitely the most important. Like if I was to put that 50 millimeter 1.2 on a Rebel body, I'm still going to be able to get a good shot, even if it's like just a crop, if it's like a crop sensor or full frame, whatever. It depends on the camera you have or whatever. But I feel like if you know what you're doing and you have the right lens, you can still make something look good or sort of fake it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I love Canon, but like I'm starting to get to the point in my life where I'm just like, it just hurts to carry it around that much. And I'm gonna continue to do it until I can afford to upgrade to like either the R series or maybe switch to something else. Because like I said, I really like the Fuji, but I love it for video, not for photo. It's kind of like, hey, come on in. We're podcasting. No, we're just like testing. We're podcasting, having a fun time.
Food is ready.
All the food is ready?
Yeah.
You grilled the steaks?
What do you think I've been doing this whole time?
Go in there and say that.
Oh.
Go say hi. Go. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How's it going, guys?
Your face is really...
So do I have good catch light?
Right now you do.
Right now.
Yeah, like he's got that glow
Bethany
in his
has
eyes.
good catch light, and it's almost, we're short lighting her because she's got shadow here and the camera's back there, you see.
See the camera's over there.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yep.
So, and Rick looks pretty good over there too. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Rick's got that twinkle in his eye.
Am I twinkling?
Yeah, he's twinkling right now.
All right, well, screw this. Let's go.
So, yeah, let's go freaking eat. Are you kidding?
We're out of here.
We're going to go eat some steaks. Thank you, and goodbye. It's like that was an abrupt end to
You hear tires peel in the distance?
Later on.
That was in my mouth most of the song. That was like really lame. Like really had to like, I gotta like, hold on. Hold on, I'm just setting that there and wiggle.
Exactly. Just loosen up. Big deep breath.
Oh, my neck just cracked.
Nice.
Hold on. My did you see that was happening?
bit, yeah.
It went into
You should leave that.
yeah, just down?
Yeah, just a little, yeah.
Yeah, looks good.
Okay.
I like what the light does. Just do a take like you don't give a fuck. You're still rolling, right?
I'm still rolling.
Just belt it out. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Do a loose take.
All right. Loose take.
Take 4. Action.
Shadows dance across your face. Memories take me to a different place. Holding you reminds me of autumn leaves. Stay here with me now until you have to leave. Stay here with me now until you have to leave. Stay here with me now until you have to leave. Laying with you the whole day through, nothing else but my window view. The look in your eyes when you smile. Please stay until you have to leave. Stay with me until you have to leave.
And cut.
Nice.
Thank you for listening to the Creative Loitering podcast. Don't forget to ring the bell and subscribe and like and comment below and enable notifications and click the heart and leave a review and swipe right at Patreon and OnlyFans and make a donation and follow me on Facebook and Snapchat and Instagram and Twitter and WhatsApp and WeChat and TikTok and QQ and QZone and Reddit and Twitch and YouTube and Vimeo and Pinterest and Periscope and Valence and Zelle and Venmo and Untapped and Alpha and Ubo and House Party and Peanut and Caffeine and 23 Snaps and Likey and 8 Tracks and Academia and Fark and MeWe and Tumblr and LinkedIn and Tagged and Nextdoor and Mixed and DeviantArt and Quora and Flickr and Meetup and Reverb Nation and Goodreads and Flickster and Caring Bridge and Wattpad and Crunchyroll and eBay and Smugmug and Skyrock and My Heritage and Live Journal and VK and Classmates and SoundCloud and Bobby and We Hearted and